Hi everyone, I'm David. In this video, I will show you how to monitor your aerobic and anaerobic energy generation with mnsX during a training. I will guide you through a Zwift workout to show you how to make real-time decisions on adjusting your training protocol to make it perfect for you and improve the ability that you would like. But before I jump on my bike, I would like to share a few important things. First of all, if you haven't heard about mnsX or the safe energy production, please watch our animation video first or check out our website. Secondly, during the workout, you will see how my energy system reacts to a specific training protocol according to my momentary form. I will show you how I should adjust the parameters to make the protocol perfect for myself. The reason I highlight mine because we are different, and if you do the same training protocol, your energy system will react according to that momentary form, and you might have to adjust the parameters differently. The third and most important thing is me. I ride 6 times per week, I'm between 72 and 73 kg, and I'm 185 cm tall. My current FTP is 286 Watt. Most of the times my high intensity trainings are Zwift crit races or cyclocross sessions outside. My anaerobic capacity is decent, but my aerobic is not. I will do a VO2max Zwift workout, but because it is a Zwift training plan, I can't adjust the parameters during the workout. Actually, it's not a problem, because at least I can show you what will happen if I don't adjust the protocol when I should. I would like to highlight that it is not Zwift's fault that their training protocol is not perfect for me. How should they know I have a weak aerobic capacity or what is my momentary form? I love Zwift and Zwift racing, it is amazing. And about the workout, the warm-up part is brutal for me, so to avoid muscle damage, I will do a 10-minute easy ride before the workout. And during the easy ride, I will introduce the main screen of our ConnectIQ application. Are you ready? Let's do it. I will show only the main screen, but you can find a detailed and up-to-date guide on our website. When I start the app, it waits for my mnsX to connect. When the mnsX connected, you can find a bunch of information about the mnsX settings on and below the middle island. mnsX has a bike power meter certification. I will have a detailed guide about this topic later. Now in a nutshell, if you are using multiple power meters, you can certify them, and mnsX compensates your power meter difference in the power measurement. Okay, at this point I realized, if I use the real-time record, you won't see anything I'm talking about, so I will use 3 screenshots from the upcoming workout. But no worries, you will see real-time action during the workout. Oh, one more important thing. I talk about only the UI in this part, the analysis of the display data will be in the workout part. The application has 3 sections. The top is the heart rate section, you can find there the heart rate graph in green, which goes from 100 BPM to 200. Above the graph you can find the lap time and the current heart rate value. The bottom one is the power section. There is the power graph in purple, which lowest value is 0 watts, and the highest is the rounded up value of your 20 minutes FTP times 2. In my case, the rounded up watt is 300, and times 2 it is 600. Above the graph you can see the current cadence and power values. The middle is the SEP section. Let's start with the colors. SEP has 2 colors, the orange and red. Orange indicates that your aerobic system has not warmed up yet. If SEP turns red, it will mean that your aerobic system is warmed up, but, and this is super important, it doesn't mean your aerobic system is completely warmed up and you are ready to work at high intensities. The anaerobic support is even more colorful. The most important one is the dark blue, which indicates that the anaerobic system is dominant and suppresses the aerobic. In this case, Garmin also notifies you with sound notification. The light blue indicates that the anaerobic system is still dominant, still suppressing the aerobic, but the aerobic system is getting back. The pink indicates that the anaerobic system supports the aerobic and the aerobic is the dominant system. The SEP graph range on paper is from 0 to 100%, but the display is smart. It automatically adjusts the zoom to focus on the most important information. When the anaerobic system is dominant, the display focuses and zooms on the area to show you the suppression with the highest accuracy, like in the right picture. When you are chilling, the display zooms out, choosing a range to show you the most relevant information for you. The left bar shows what the current display range is. The left one is around from 30% to 60%. The middle is from 50% to 70%. And the right is from 70% to 80%. On the right side there are two bars. The bottom one shows the SEP gradient is ascending or descending and with what dynamics. The top bar shows the rate of the anaerobic suppression. You will find the regeneration graph right above the SEP graph, which shows the aerobic system's regeneration process. It has three levels. Level 1 means the regeneration has been started. Level 2 means the regeneration is happening. And level 3 means your aerobic system is regenerated and you are ready for the next high intensity exercise. I think I mentioned the major things, so let's start the workout. Okay, once more. You will see how my energy systems react to the specific training protocol according to my momentary form. In an aspect of today's video, the relevant parameters of my form are my measured 20 minutes FTP, which is 286 watts, and the fact that my anaerobic capacity is strong, but my aerobic is not. The training plan can be divided into three parts: the warm-up part, the main workout part, and something that is not cool down. Let's see the warm-up part. During the 10-minute easy ride, my average watt was 125, and as you can see, my SEP is still low and my aerobic system hasn't warmed up yet. The first ramp up goes from 130 to 155 watts. My SEP doesn't increase below 150 because the intensity is low for me. From 150, SEP slowly increases, but the warm-up intensity is still not optimal for me. The first power spike comes, which is 360 watts for 20 seconds. And nothing happens. My energy systems don't recognize the intensity change at all. My SEP is low and orange, which means my aerobic system hasn't warmed up yet. In this case, its reaction time is slow, so the 20 seconds of high intensity is too short for my slow aerobic system to react to the intensity change. The second ramp up goes from 160 to 185 watts. During this ramp up, as I get closer to 185, the ascending SEP gradient increases as well. And this is how I see I'm getting closer to the optimal warm-up intensity. At 185 watts, my SEP turns red, which means my aerobic system is warmed up. But it doesn't mean it warmed up to that level, which I need to work at high intensities. At the second power spike, my SEP is higher than it was at the first one, and my aerobic system is warmed up a bit. When I increase the effort to 360 watts, my SEP starts decreasing. This decrease in SEP is not because of the anaerobic suppression. When there is a huge intensity change, in this case a plus 175 watts, the aerobic system gets a shock. So now my aerobic system feels the intensity change, but because it's not warmed up enough, it is still slow and can't react to the intensity change during the power spike. The third ramp up goes from 190 to 210 watts. Between 195 and 205 watts, my SEP gradient is the steepest upward. This is my optimal warm-up intensity range at this moment. As soon as the intensity changes to 210, the upward gradient shrinks, and I get out from the optimal warm-up intensity range. During the third power spike, my aerobic system gets a huge intensity change shock again, but because the high intensity phase is too short, it doesn't have enough time to react. After the power spike, something super interesting happens. The intensity goes back to 145 watts, and SEP keeps decreasing for a while. But after the aerobic system realizes the intensity is low, it fires up. SEP increases with maximal gradient for a short time, and it doesn't matter how low the intensity is. This is why power spikes are good during the warm-up, because they can fire up the aerobic system for a short time and speed up the warming up process. After 30 seconds, I should increase the intensity to around 200 watts to keep warming up my aerobic system and increase my SEP. But because this is a fixed training plan, I can't, and my SEP starts decreasing right before the first high-intensity exercise. This is a huge problem. First of all, you don't know, but my SEP is super far away from its optimal value for the 290 watts effort. It is somewhere here. Secondly, before the high-intensity phase, my aerobic system starts decreasing its energy production because of the low intensity. So when I increase the intensity from 145 to 290 watts, my aerobic system decreases the energy production and also gets a shock because of the huge intensity change. I crash my aerobic system at the start of the high-intensity phase, and because the aerobic system reaction is still slow, it takes 1 minute to react to the problem. You can't see my face, but actually I'm dying on the bike. Performing for 1 minute at high intensity with a crashed aerobic system and no anaerobic support is terrible. After 1 minute, the aerobic system reacts and requests anaerobic support. And the anaerobic system starts supporting the aerobic, and because the required anaerobic energy production is huge, it becomes dominant instantly and starts suppressing the aerobic. The anaerobic support is dark blue and Garmin is beeping. Because my 20 minutes FTP is 286 watts, 3 minutes and 290 watts shouldn't be a problem for my aerobic system. If I'm warmed up my aerobic system enough for this intensity, it could produce enough energy and wouldn't need anaerobic help. After 2 minutes at 290 watts, my aerobic system starts getting back. The anaerobic support turns light blue, which means it is still dominant. It still suppresses the aerobic, but the suppression decreases. In the last 20 seconds, the aerobic system becomes dominant, but it still requires the anaerobic support, which turns pink. You can't really see it well on the record, but trust me, it is there. At 100 watts, my aerobic system starts regenerating. You can see the regeneration process right above the SEP graph. It has 3 levels which indicate the regeneration status. Level 1 means the aerobic system regeneration has been started. Level 2 means the aerobic system is regenerating, like right now. Now, my regeneration status is level 3, which means the aerobic system is regenerated and I'm ready for the next high-intensity phase. When anaerobic suppression happens, we always have to regenerate SEP to at least the same level as it was at the start of the previous high-intensity phase to avoid endurance reduction. At 315 watts, my SEP is way higher than at the start of the 290. The aerobic system gets a shock again because of the plus 215 watts intensity increment. But now it takes only 30 seconds for the aerobic system to react to the intensity change. The anaerobic system becomes dominant again and suppresses the aerobic. Because the higher intensity, the energy consumption is bigger, so the suppression is greater, and it takes more time for the aerobic system to start getting back. It starts getting back only in the last 20 seconds. After the huge anaerobic suppression, I regenerate back my aerobic system to avoid endurance reduction. And now I'm ready for the next high intensity phase. In the third high intensity phase, the situation is similar to the second. My SEP is even higher, and the reaction time on the intensity change is only 17 seconds. Because of the plus 245 watts increment, the anaerobic suppression is even greater than in the second phase. The aerobic system can't get back during the high intensity phase. This 5 minutes at 100 watts is an excellent example to show you the optimal regeneration, duration and intensity. In the first 4 minutes, my SEP regenerates. Oh, by the way, my SEP reaches the value that I considered okay to work at high intensities. In other words, I'm finally warmed up. After 4 minutes, my SEP starts decreasing. I should start the next high intensity phase now and adjust the regeneration duration to 4 minutes from 5 or increase the regeneration intensity. Well, I can't adjust anything, so my SEP starts decreasing, which means my aerobic system starts decreasing its energy production because of the low intensity. And the same situation happens again. I start the high intensity phase with an aerobic system which decreases its energy production and it gets a huge shock because of the plus 190 watts increment. The aerobic system requires anaerobic support. The dominant anaerobic system suppresses the aerobic and after 2.5 minutes, my aerobic system starts getting back. In the last 2 high intensity phases, the same situation happens, so I would like to show another thing instead of them. This is a screenshot from the iOS app analyzer. As you can see here, the second set's anaerobic suppressions are smaller than the first because my SEP is higher. This is a good example of why warm-up is so important. I did this training protocol several times. All of them are different because my forms were different, so my energy systems reacted differently. But the main issues for me are the same: inadequate warm-up and huge watt difference between the regeneration and high intensity phases. There are minor issues that are different. For example, in the previous 2 workouts, I had a problem with the duration and intensity of all the regeneration phases. My aerobic system starts decreasing its energy production after 2 minutes. Now 3 minutes is perfect for me. The biggest problem with these workouts is none of them improved my VO2max. To improve VO2max, I have to work with an intensive anaerobic energy generation while the aerobic system is the dominant. In other words, choosing that intensity where I have the biggest pink anaerobic support. In all high-intensity phases, my anaerobic system dominated. They were dark and light blue. So how would I change this protocol? Well, for the first try, I would do a decent warm-up. I would try to eliminate the huge intensity increment by increasing the intensity step by step before the high-intensity phase, and also extending the duration of the high-intensity phases. I will make a video where I try to fix these problems. I think now you can see why the real-time monitoring of aerobic and anaerobic energy systems is so important. Your energy systems react to the specific training protocol according to your momentary form. Only during the workout you can find out if you need adjustment and what adjustment to improve the desired ability. And thanks to the real-time feedback, you get unlimited power over your training. That's pretty cool. Okay. Let's see the last part of the training protocol. Cooldown is as important as warm-up, and 3 minutes of cooldown and 130 to 100 watts is nothing. First of all, after a high-intensity phase, if there is an anaerobic suppression, you have to regenerate your aerobic system to avoid endurance reduction. Secondly, Cooldown is the preparation for the next training. My minimal cooldown takes around 10 minutes. First, I regenerate my SEP, then I slowly start decreasing by always choosing the optimal intensity. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you don't understand something, please let me know in the comments. It helps me a lot with the upcoming videos.